Have a Skyjack scissor lift 4632 that is stuck in reverse. When these get stuck in reverse, first thing to do is check the box. Make sure your joystick is good. If you have another one like it, you can just unplug it, plug in another box, make sure everything works. In this case, it does. So we come down here and we take apart this part, and there's a plunger inside of there, and it gets stuck, maybe some shavings or just wear. And take it apart, clean it up, see if we can find any shavings. Next option is we come down here on the hydraulic side and take apart this top one. That's the forward and reverse, and we see if the plunger is stuck inside of there. Sometimes if you had a wheel shaft break or something like that, there may be shavings inside of there that the filter is not catching. That hangs it up. We will open it up and see what's going on in there. First step, Phillips screwdriver, take off these, remember where they came from, put one on one side, tuck one on the other side. Then next step, take these Allens out. Once you have all of those Allens loose, should just pull right off of there. Don't have one quite loose. So once those Allens are all off and loose, should just pull right off like that. There's a little marker there to make sure you get it lined up in the right place. And then we'll take this thing over and we'll get this taken apart. And once you have those loosened up, spin them off, and these things just slide right off. Careful, there's an O-ring that goes in the end of here. Make sure you don't lose that. Slide off the other side. Same thing. There's an O-ring that goes there. And then you have to take this off. I actually had to get a wrench and grind it down because of, here's my wrench that I ground down. You can tell it's a lot skinnier. To fit on that little square right there, the little square notch to get it off. I just use a pipe wrench to hold it into place, fit it on there. I broke it loose already, but then that should just twist off of there after you have it loose. Here we go. Just twist this off. There's a tiny plunger inside of there. This little thing just slides in the end of there. Make sure you don't lose that. Small spring in there as well. And this little plunger right in here is what we're going to be taking out. That gets hung up. Okay, here it is, taken apart. All right, I did say there's an A and a B side. I think all the parts are the same. I just like to keep things separate, just so it goes back the same way. And now we're going to take this little plunger out inside of here. Okay, usually I just take a little screwdriver or something and tap on the end there to get it going. It sticks a little bit, and then on it to get it to come out. There's a little washer on there on both ends. Make sure you don't lose that. And pull it out. It's sticking a little bit already, so that could be part of our problem. No trouble. Okay, got it out. There we go. And that's what we're trying to check for, some burrs or some shavings or anything in there that could be hanging it up. Came out a little bit hard, so I'm thinking that's what's hanging it up. I'll just inspect it and see what I can see. So I took it all apart. It was hanging up a little bit, but it seems to slide pretty freely now back and forth. So I did find a little bit of debris in there, not a whole lot. Sometimes, like I said, if you worked on a wheel shaft or something where there's been shavings in there, you'll actually see them, but this moves pretty freely now, so I feel good about putting it back together. Don't forget to put your little washer on the end of the plunger shaft. Put the spring on top of that. You just take this, line it up, screw it on. Do the same thing with this side. Get your little rubber or round washer here, put that on. Get your spring, put that on the end of there. This slides inside of there. Line it up and twist it on. Again, just take a wrench, snug those down, pull it with a pipe wrench. Here's my wrench that I ground down so it fits on the grooves. And just snug up both sides. It doesn't have to be extremely tight. Just give it a little bump. Feel it sit down. Got those on there. Slide these back on. Remember to put our rubber O-ring on there. Slide that on. Just take these, snug them back down. Same on both sides. Clips on there nice. Go O-ring. Slide that on. Plastic nut. Snug that down tight. And I'll snug those up with an adjustable wrench there, and we're ready to put it back on. Now when we put it back on, it has this little guy sticking out to make sure we get it lined up correctly. It goes in that little hole right down there at the bottom. Just set it on there and get your Allens back in. I like to do top right one and bottom left just so they're catty corner. Get them all started and then go around and snug them all down. Once you have them all snugged down, get these plugs, plug those back in. Come on now. And then just take this screwdriver and tighten those back down. And then it's the moment of truth if it works or not. The other good thing to do if you're having trouble with that is to change the filter. It's right inside of there. It's not too hard to get to. Grab a hold, pull it up. It's in this little canister here, if I can get it out. There's the old one. Set that out of the way. If you look in here, you see the shavings down there in the bottom. It's definitely a culprit. So we'll get those cleaned out and get the new filter in there. You can see all those little shavings down in there. Got to get all that cleaned out. So here's the shavings, some of them that I got out of there. And if you look inside the filter here, in between the grooves, you can just see that's full of those little metal shavings. So a few of them are just working their way through and getting hung up in that little plunger in there. So we'll get this changed out. Hopefully it'll be good to go for a while again. Okay, so let's try it. Got my box hanging on the side here so it's backwards. So let's try forward. Hey, it works. Let's try reverse. Works both ways. Back in business.